Hello, my name is Jennifer King. I'm the ELA in Social Studies ISS in the Europe East Grafenweer Field Office. I'd like to welcome you to the content portion of our Quarter 2 CCR Professional Learning. Earlier today, in the core instruction module, Socratic Seminar was presented as a way to foster student-centered classroom supports through inquiry and discourse. In order to be successful in a Socratic seminar, students need to be familiar with the content. That is most often accomplished through the reading of text. While reading is often thought of as a singular activity, it can also be student-centered. With that in mind, I would like to share a collaborative reading strategy that helps keep students engaged and allows them to process what they are reading. Today's session was designed as a complete mini lesson that includes multiple opportunities for students to engage in the learning. As we go through the different slides, you'll notice a little teacher apple in the bottom right corner. The apple denotes a teacher slide. A student version of the presentation is available for you to use and adapt in your classroom. During our time today, we are going to focus on the first 3 learning targets. Recognize the ineffectiveness of popcorn and round robin reading, identify 4 basic principles of cooperative learning, and explore collaborative alternative to popcorn and round robin reading. When I was in school, reading was handled in one of 2 ways. First, there was silent reading, by myself, no talking. Depending on how much text was involved, it often meant that my mind wandered after a few minutes, so I missed key material. The other option was round robin reading. This was marked by the teacher starting with the first student in the first row reading a paragraph. I would then quickly count how many students would read before me and then feverishly count the number of paragraphs to see where I would be reading. I'd then spend the next couple of minutes reading and rereading my paragraph because I wanted to be sure that I could pronounce all of the words correctly. Unfortunately, that meant I missed most of what was read before me, and my palpable relief of making it through my turn meant I missed a lot of what came after my turn. When I started teaching, popcorn reading had become all the rage. This strategy was still whole class, but it allowed for student choice. The teacher would pull a popsicle stick from a cup and call out the student's name. That person would begin reading a paragraph or 2. When they reached a point where they felt they were done, they would call on another student. Those who were eager to read would wave their hands in the air, begging to be called upon. Usually the person would choose a friend, and the cycle would continue. However, if a student was called upon and did not want to read, that student could popcorn to someone else. And just like microwave popcorn, where everything goes smoothly until you hear that first kernel pop, the same thing would happen in class. The first popcorn turned into more and more. The intentions of round robin and popcorn were good. It was meant to make sure students read the material. However, it didn't really do what we thought it was doing. In reality, it hinders fluency and stamina, it hampers comprehension, limits attention and focus, and finally, it undermines confidence. Since time is a limited resource, we have to make instructional decisions that allow us to get the biggest bang for our buck. As we endeavor to make our lessons more student-centered, it's helpful to keep Dr. Spencer Kagan's 4 principles of cooperative learning in mind. First is positive interdependence. When students work in isolation, they are not invested in anyone but themselves. While that may work for some students, for others it leads to frustration and disappointment. Instead, look for strategies that require everyone to contribute for the good of the group. 2, individual accountability. When we have a traditional class discussion where the teacher asks a question to the group and then calls on one of the volunteers who raised a hand, only one student is working. In fact, there are probably a lot of students who are secretly happy they were not called upon. Selecting strategies that require everyone to participate in a meaningful way increases active engagement. 3, equal Participation. Confident students who know the content or have an emotional investment in the topic can monopolize a conversation and keep others from sharing their thoughts and ideas. When planning how students will engage with content, it's beneficial to consider the roles students will have so that all may have an opportunity to participate in the learning. And fourth, simultaneous interaction. You may have heard the one doing the talking is the one doing the learning. This is at the heart of simultaneous interaction. The more students who are reading or talking at any given time, the more learning is taking place. When we apply Kagan's principles to round robin reading and popcorn, they do not pass the cooperative learning test. Therefore, how can we ensure our students are reading the text and learning from it? One possible solution is PALS. PALS, or Peer Assisted Learning Strategies, is an evidence-based K-12 strategy that meets each one of Kagan's principles. Based on the work of researchers at Vanderbilt University, the strategy purposely pairs students to read, question, and discuss text through 4 timed rotations. For shorter text, 3 to 5 pages, depending on the grade and reading levels, students can get through an entire article in 32 minutes plus time for transitions. Initially, it takes a bit more time, as you will see in our video demonstration, to teach the strategy. However, once everyone is comfortable with the stages, it can be done with transitions in under 35 minutes. That works very well in our 20-60-20 framework. In this chart, you see a sample of purposefully paired partners. Student scores in this table are from the DCAS Summative Reading Assessment. Other forms of data may be used, such as classroom assessments, CPAs, PSAT, or the TOSCRIF 2. If students make an ideal pair according to the data, but would not be a good fit in reality, shift one of them with someone in the row above or below. If someone is absent, the student can join a group above or below. Assignments for the rounds may need to be adjusted to make sure everyone has a chance to read and participate. Now it's finally time to see what this looks like in action. I had the honor and privilege of taking one of Miss Laura Patton's 8th grade English Language Arts classes at Patch Middle School. The lesson was designed as an ELA lesson that would complement a social studies lesson. As social studies teachers, we know the struggle of trying to figure out what to teach and what to leave out. History is all about the details and how the actions of one impact others. We can't cover it all, and it is a struggle. In this lesson, students learn about some forgotten history as it relates to U.S. involvement in World War II. These are the learning targets that were intended to be used for the entire lesson. For today, we are going to focus on the first bullet. Analyze factors leading up to the United States entry into World War II. Students were asked to do a quick write before beginning. I chose the quick write because it gave everyone a chance to think about what they know about World War II. It also gave them an opportunity to analyze a primary source document of the time. For students who may not know as much about World War II, the image and question prompts still gave them something to think about. Now it's time to view this lesson in action. In this first clip, you will see me introduce the lesson and engage the students in a quick write. Please take this time now to watch the video lesson introduction and quick write.